Hello, my fine furry friends. Welcome back. Took a little week break. Had to get a little. For that last series, it took me. I'm not gonna lie, it took me down memory lane, took me back a little bit, opened some stuff. So we gotta take a little break. But we are back. Quick rapid fire. Have you drank your water? Mine's is right over there. I'm about to show you. See, it's no, I don't be lying. It's right. It be here. It be ready. See, full, ready for you guys. So, water. Did you take your vitamins? I'm not gonna lie, I haven't. Some more. Anyway, but I have been getting my sleep. Have you been getting your sleep? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the summertime. It's a little uncomfortable, but let's try to get our sleep. Let's try to get our sleep. Today, I'm gonna talk to you guys about some relationship stuff that I'm seeing, and I guess some kind of questions that I have. We'll see. We'll get you some water. That music's about to play. We'll be back to talk about it in a minute. That music. It be music. It be y'all know how I feel about music. We just did a whole series about it. Anyway, so some relationship stuff that I'm seeing online, and y'all know, barefaced, no nails, no nothing. We about to get real because we're gonna talk about some stuff I'm seeing online, and we're gonna talk about how I know I've processed them through them. So let's talk about it. One of the first things that I'm seeing online is this. I guess this thing where I'm seeing that a lot of people are kind of not necessarily blaming, but putting the responsibility of a relationship on the other. So, like, what I mean by that is I'll see men say that it's a woman's job to, submit to him and, you know, make him feel emotionally safe and all of that. And don't get me wrong, I know in a relationship, like, you should have your partner should feel these ways with you. But I wonder, is there ever a conversation to be had? And, nobody has individual thought anymore. Is there ever a conversation to be had for the people who just are processing through their own stuff and can't feel that way no matter how their partner is trying? Like, it's a healing that has to happen within them first to be able to give that to a partner. Do y'all know what I'm saying? Because I don't feel it's fair to say to a woman that, oh, you're supposed to make me feel this way. Vice versa, I don't think that it's fair to say to a man that, as a woman, that you're like, I'm not supposed to tell my man that you're supposed to make me feel this way either. Like, it's not his job to do something that I am not emotionally able to do. You know what I mean? Like, we've talked about my submission before, and that in my prior relationship, I thought that I like knew what submission was. And not until something else was added to that, and I didn't say to that, but not until something else was learned and healing had happened, I was able to realize what true submission was and give that to somebody else, right? Like, because they had earned it, right? But they had earned it, and I had put in the work to give it. You know what I mean? Like, there is a level that I have to get through to be able to give that to somebody, to have it for myself and then give it to somebody else willingly. And I feel like that piece of everything isn't talked about enough. Like, how many times are we going to say that somebody else is supposed to do something and make us feel a certain way? First off, another person can't make you do anything. Like, and no, we're not going to get crazy and be like, well, what if somebody has a gun to my head? Like, come on now. That's not what we're talking about. But don't be disingenuous. But what I am saying is, like, I can't in a relationship make you happy. I can't do that. I can't in a relationship make you feel at peace. I can't do that. That's something that you're going to have to already possess. And know how to step in and feel comfortable being in for you to even allow me to be able to do that. And I don't think that it's being fair to your partner expecting them to do that. And why I say that is I had to learn through that, right? Like I was in this thought process as well. So I'm not damning other people, but I was in this thought process as well where, oh well, my partner is supposed to make me happy. They're supposed to make me feel safe. They're supposed to make me feel heard. They're supposed to make me feel seen. And I'm not saying that they can't do those things, but what I am saying, if you don't experience that within yourself first, how are you going to experience that with somebody else? It's the same thing about, well, you're supposed to love me. If you don't know how to love you, how they going to learn how to love you? You can't even teach them. Like it's like expecting a baby to teach you how to run a 5K. Like, baby, that baby barely know how to crawl. That 1 year old can't pick their head. That 1 month old can't pick their head up. What are you talking about? Like that 1 year old can barely cruise, stumble through the house. Like, how they gonna teach you how to appropriately run a 5K? They don't know what they're doing. So it's kind of like you're putting the responsibility of your healing on somebody else, and that's not fair. Because then we have emotional blowback, and then we have people being resentful of one another. Like, that's not fair. You're bogging your relationship down before even being able to be fully in it. That's part of the reason why, like right now, I know I've decided, and we've talked about this before, I'm deciding to date people and kind of get to know people and get to know myself really, because I'm not going to say I never took the time to do that, but this part of me, this new person in me is older. She's different. She's experiencing things differently. She has different responsibilities, motives, different likes, different dislikes. Certain things I liked, in my 20s, in my late teens, in my 20s, I don't like now. Like, that's just is what it is. I enjoy going out, like, more often than not in my late teens, early 20s. You ask me to go out now and you say something about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Like, we're leaving at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock used to be early for me. Now, 10 o'clock be like, we're leaving at 10 o'clock? Like, that's a little late, my guy. And that's just because of everything that I have going on in my life right now. Like, I'm not in that place anymore. And that's okay. But you can't expect to not know you, but somebody else be able to know you. You can't expect to not have some type of healing, but then expect that somebody's supposed to come in here and rebuild Taj Mahal for you. Like, it's just, that's ridiculous a concept and ridiculous an expectation to have of a person. And like I said, I'm only saying that because I get having to go through that. Like, it's hard. That's hard work, but you got to do the steps to heal yourself first. And understandably, there's going to be certain things that, you know, only being in a relationship can help heal, right? Because you're not going to experience those things until you're in a relationship. But there's a certain level of ownership that you have to have in that too. So I think to just put that all on your partner is very disingenuous. I don't know. No, I do know, but that's just my opinion. Another thing that I am coming to, you know, see a lot, um, not necessarily on socials, but to be honest, me and my sisters had this conversation last night, and my sister was talking about marriage. And we had stumbled into the conversation of a prenup. And I said, like, I would be one of those people that would, want to sit down and have a prenup signed with my husband. And she, understandably, like, made the statement, marriage is supposed to be forever. And if you walk into a marriage with a plan of divorce, it's like you were already planning for this to go wrong and all of that things. And she has her feelings about, love and relationship and the type of love that she wants and needs. And there's nothing wrong with what she said. There's nothing wrong with what I said. We just had a difference of opinion at the end of the day. And I know for me, the conversation is protection. And not just for you, but for your lineage and your legacy, right? So if I'm being honest, when I walk into my next marriage. Never been married before to have a first one. Anyway, when I walk into my marriage, that God has for me, do I think that that's going to be the person that God has for me? Absolutely. I have all the faith in the world in that. God is not going to return something to me void. He's already promised me that I would marry the person that was for me, that He made for me, right? So yes, I think that that's going to happen. I don't think that me and my husband are ever going to get divorced when we finally do get married. Like I don't think that. The way that I have prayed to God about him, that's gonna be my dog. Like, leave you for what? Leave you for where? Sir, I want to be in your skin and I know you want to be in mine. Right? Like, that's gonna be my buddy. But I also have children already with someone else. And there's a protection of them that I have to have because one, I'm their mom. Like, it's my job to protect you. And then two, there's a legacy that I want them to continue on with, right? Do I think that we're ever going to get divorced? No. Do I want to be prepared and go through that process of separating assets whilst we love one another? Yes. Because it's really difficult, and I'm not going to sit here and lie. Something that, me and my children's father's relationship taught me was that you can love somebody with all of your heart. But when you are hurt, that love can turn itself because they're two sides of the same coin. That love can flip itself quickly into something that you don't recognize. And it's because hurt has now been the driving force behind it. And as much as you love them, right now, you may not like them. Like, you may not. You may think that that person is the worst person on the planet, knowing good and well in here, all you are is hurt, right? I said a lot of things out of hurt when I've been hurt before, right? And I can't take those things back. And knowing how personally I am, do I think I'm going to switch up and be like, no, I want everything? No, what's not mine ain't mine. Like, anybody that knows me knows, and I say this all the time, what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine. That's why they have different, names to them. That's why they're actively separated, right? I don't have a problem with me personally doing that and knowing, like, if this is where a thing that were to happen, I'll happily walk away with what I came with, split what we had down the middle, get out of there. You walk away with what you came with, split what you have down the middle, get out of there, right? Like, I ain't got the time for the drama, right? But I understand somebody walking in and saying, if you plan to be with me forever, there is no contingency plan. And they're not wrong to have that conversation. They're not wrong to have that thought process. I'm not wrong for saying that I want to be protected by this way. What I don't understand is when you have these conversations, if you're seeing that you don't ideally align in certain things that may be important to you, where in the space is there grace given for maybe this means we shouldn't move forward? You know, because again, when you love somebody, you love someone. They're in there. It's locked in. Y'all in there, y'all rolling deep, right? But if you know that ideologically, morally, y'all may not align, what is the point of moving forward? And I do, from our conversation last night with her and my other sister, I do agree with that. Like, I agree with, if you guys are ideally and, sometimes morally incompatible, but you love each other, love ain't gonna stop everything else. Like, because, like she described it, love is the umbrella and things fall under it, right? I believe that when it comes to a marriage, it is completely and utterly a circle. And if the circle is not full, what are you doing? How can you become one if the circle is not a full circle? Like, there is no oneness. So I've also never been married. So for all my married listeners, like, what are your thought processes in that? Like, I know love isn't always enough, but have there been things that y'all haven't ideally like evened out with, or like seen in the same way, and it didn't matter? Y'all agreed to disagree and moved on and have continued a healthy and loving marriage. for the people who that hasn't happened with and you've ended up being divorced. What was that thing that changed that for you? So like, go in the comments, have a little tete-a-tete. I'll definitely conversate. Lord, that is not even a word. I'll definitely converse with you, and we can help me figure it out. Because as I said at the very, very beginning of this entire channel 2 years ago, I'm a fool too. We're all foolish. We all don't know things until it's time that we know them. So help me out. Last thing, last thing. And this I have seen quite a lot. Why is it that when it comes to certain things, we believe women right off the bat? When it comes to those same things, we won't give men the grace to at least hear them out. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. Before you attack me, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I'm not saying don't believe victims, right? It's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. I will never say that shit, right? But what I am saying is you have to hear the story in its entirety as much as possible before making, in my opinion, public judgment, right? So I have heard things before and been like, privately, damn, that's fucked up. I want to hear the rest of it, because I know that just because I hear one side doesn't mean I heard the other side, doesn't mean I've heard the context, doesn't mean I've heard the proof, right? Because right off the bat, if you hear somebody, oh, if you hear a woman, oh, he hit me, instinctually, you hear a woman say he hit me automatically. You're in defense mode. You should never put your hands on women. What kind of man are you? How could you do this? Then there may be later context. One, she may have instigated this situation. Two, she may have been abusive towards this, physically abusive, mentally abusive, and emotionally abusive towards this man for a long time, because people don't like to admit that men can be victims too. Um, and three, that she has used the fact that he is a man against him when he may want to come forward and say something. Because one of the main things a woman can say is, well, nobody's gonna believe you. You're a man. So you think somebody's gonna believe that a man is gonna take is not is it's just gonna be taken advantage of by a woman. Like, these things happen. And because they can happen and are very, very likely to not be reported, I don't understand why when men do come forward and say stuff, we don't believe them. But if a woman turns around and says the exact same thing, we believe her, right? I don't understand why when a woman comes forward and says, oh, well, he did X, Y, and Z to me, we automatically are like, well, that's the truth. And that's exactly what it is. I feel like that's not fair. That's not humanly fair, because we don't know what's going on. Am I saying a man is just, first off, am I saying that people should just be out here causing harm to one another? Absolutely not. But I am saying, because I know I teach my kids, period, protect yourself. Because at the end of the day, your job is to come home. Protect yourself the best way possible. When, as Black people, when it comes to the police, if that means I need you to say yes, sir, no, sir, okay, sir, and just be as calm as possible when you are angry, yes, do that. If that means as a woman, I'm telling my daughter, hey, we gonna get you a concealed carry, so I know get you concealed carry and lessons to use the thing safely, because I want to know that you're safe when you're not with me, right? Son's the same way. My daughter, I want you to have self-defense classes. Son's the same way, right? Like, I don't think that it's fair that we sexism is a motherfucker, bro. I don't think that it's fair that we assign certain things to men of being so dangerous when women can be just as dangerous. We assign certain things to women as being so fragile and such victims when men can be the same. Like, I don't think that's fair. And how that plays out in relationships is we don't humanize the other. Like, we put a label on our partners so quickly that we sometimes don't humanize them, and that's not fair. And I say that because I've had to live through that. I've had to have conversation with a partner that instead of telling me how they felt in the time, because they thought that I wouldn't listen, just didn't say anything, and it ended up having an emotional toll on them. And I'm like, yo, like, why didn't you say something? I mean, I didn't think you was gonna listen to me. Well, why did you not think I was gonna listen to you? I mean, you can't. A man can't tell a woman he's uncomfortable with that. Why didn't you say something? Like you just huh? And it took me understanding after the fact, like, yo, like, you one didn't think that you were safe enough to tell me how you felt. That was one thing. Going back to the first part, you didn't think that you were safe enough to tell me how you felt. And then you two thought that if you did tell me how you felt, I wouldn't take it seriously. And when we had a later conversation, it was the second part was not because of anything that I had done. It was because of stuff he's had happen to him in the past. And I'm like, dang, one, I'm not them, but then also I get that your nervous system doesn't know that. I get that your nervous system doesn't get that all the way. I don't know. I felt bad for the situation. And it started me to thinking, especially as some of this stuff was going up, it has been going on. It started getting me thinking that, like, damn, we really do need to protect our men a lot more. And as Black women, we need to protect our men a lot more because they're going through so much. And do they really have these spaces to say exactly how they feel about stuff? You know what I mean? But hey, I got to get back to this homework. You got to get back to having an amazingly beautiful day. You know, here, we wish you love, we wish you happiness, but above all else, we wish you peace. Please remember that life is not a dress rehearsal, it is your final performance. Y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.